Hi folks, Van Prepper here. Today, this is another Safe Act and Gun News update, and I only have one thing today because this story was important enough that I thought it warranted its own update, its own news story. And this is a story out of New Jersey. Now we've seen, I covered this, just touched on it a couple of weeks ago, that New Jersey was looking to expand its already tight gun restrictions. They have a current max capacity magazine at 15 rounds, and they are looking to put it down to 10. But there's a bunch of other nonsense in this proposed legislation that is just a travesty of justice and an assault on the Second Amendment that is right up there with the SAFE Act or anything else. So New Jersey has proposed legislation that would make a 10-round magazine the largest magazine capacity you could have. And this is not just for detachable magazines. This would mean that if you had, I have a very old tube-loader 22 rifle. It's a bolt action. It's not semi-automatic. It's just one shot at a time. You know, very old-fashioned as you can get. Under New Jersey's proposed legislation, that would be considered an assault weapon because it has a capacity of over 10 rounds, even though it's one bolt action shot at a time out of a tube loader, and it's 22 caliber. It's absolute nonsense. They also say there is no specification for semi-automatic or internal versus detachable magazine, and they would outlaw, as I said, bolt-action tube-fed rifles. It would be classified as assault rifles under this proposed New Jersey legislation. There is also no grandfather clause in this, which means if you already own any of these weapons, there is no way that you don't get these grandfathered in. There is no registration in this proposed legislation. You can't go and register these firearms if you have them. And there is no grace period, meaning when this bill, if this bill is passed, it is immediate. It takes effect immediately. There's no registration. There is no grace period. And there is no grandfather clause, which means every single person in the state of New Jersey who owns one of these rifles that is perfectly legal right now, if they pass this bill, would immediately become felons. Immediately, with no opportunity, no grace period or anything to do anything about this. And this is complete and total garbage. And they, believe me, if you think this is not important, you are not paying attention. These are the same people that last year got caught on a hot mic they had no idea was still on, and this group was very frustrated at the gun control legislation they had gotten passed because they wanted much more, and they got caught on a hot mic saying, we needed this bill to confiscate. Those were their exact words. They are looking to confiscate firearms in New Jersey, and don't think that they are not. They've already stated it. They didn't mean to state it publicly, but they have stated it publicly. And this is just their way of making sure that they don't grandfather anything in. They don't give you a grace period. They're going to come and get it, and that is it. You either come and immediately turn it in, and I don't even know that they've allowed in this bill for a means to turn it in without getting arrested for a felony. This is just badly written legislation, and it needs to be voted down. If you live in New Jersey, if you don't live in New Jersey, start burning up the phone line, sending out emails, doing anything you can, because this is nonsense. We now see Connecticut is talking confiscation. New Jersey is talking confiscation. And last year, before he passed the SAFE Act, Governor Cuomo said he was talking about one of the avenues he would pursue was mandatory buyback, which is a fancy churched up way of saying confiscation. They were going to confiscate. So, for those who think that gun owners are crazy and we just make this up, listen, these are their words, not ours. These are the words of the gun-grabbing, anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, totally anti-freedom people that are on the left right now, and we need to stand up for our rights, whether you live in New Jersey or you don't. These are your brothers and sisters, and they're under assault right now. So I'm Van Prepper. This has been another Safe Act and Gun News Update. Happy shooting, everybody.